In the new card drafting game Greed by Donald X. Vaccarino and Queen Games, players take the role of gang bosses in the seedy underbelly of 1960s America. Invest in legal business affairs when it suits you, but don't hesitate to unleash your thugs on the competition to gain the upper hand. There are 3 types of cards, all of which are different: 30 action, 25 thug, and 25 holding. Action cards are singular events and are played on yourself, another player, all other players, or all players. Thugs are assets that generate regular revenue or perform additional actions. Holdings generate revenue throughout the game. Try to hold on to them. All cards are mixed together. Give a pile of 12 cards to each player, which they keep face down to their right. The remaining cards form the draw pile. Money is sorted by denomination. Players start the game with no money. Place the development markers in a pile. A game round has 4 phases. 1. Select 1 card from your own card pile and add it to your hand. 2. Play 1 card from your hand. 3. Perform actions. And Phase 4. Check for cards with an each turn action. The first phase is performed simultaneously by all players. Select 1 card from your deck and add it to your hand. Pass the deck to the player on your left. This continues until you have a hand of 3 cards to start the game with. On subsequent turns, players will draw 1 card, pass the deck, and move on to Phase 2. There's no hand limit. Players must always draw 1 card from the deck in front of them. During the second phase, all players choose a card to play from their hand. Players must always play a card. This will keep the game moving. All choices are revealed at the same time before moving on to Phase 3. The number in the black circle determines the order cards will be resolved this round, with the lowest number going first. Check to see if all conditions of the card played are met. If they are not, the card goes to the discard pile. That is the only way to burn a card from your hand. If you meet the conditions on a card, the card goes into play. Now is a good time to give you a breakdown of the cards. The icons on the upper left of the thug and holding cards are items you have when placed to your array of cards. There are 6 types of icons. These icons can help in the placement of new cards, gaining money, or development markers. Development markers are worth $10,000 each. Patty's Pub will give you an extra development marker for every card you have in play with a car icon on it. Some cards have cost in money or icons. Cost is something you have to give up in order to play the card. Others have a need in icons. A need is simply an icon you have to have in your array. Still other cards have neither of these, but could hurt you at the end of the game if you still have them in play. Generous Jenny Jones is a good example of a thug that has no need or cost to place and gains you a quick 20 Gs and gives you an icon. But don't get caught with her at the end of the game or you'll have to pay $25,000. Thug cards and holdings cards also have icons at the bottom of them, indicating the card type. There are some cards that need a thug icon or a holdings icon to be put in play, which leads us to action cards. Some action cards have costs and needs, just as the others. There are action cards that will cost you a thug or a holding to play. This could be good news if you have Generous Jenny Jones, but this can also be a tough choice. Remember, action cards are a one-time use and can be played on yourself, another player, all other players, or all players including yourself. This card gives you a great cash benefit if played at the right time. And the next round you hurt your fellow players, but have a closer look at the card. This includes you too. All cards are resolved during Phase 3, with the exception of each turn cards, which are resolved in Phase 4. Here are some examples of cards that would be resolved in Phase 3. This is a one-time payment when placed. This card has an effect that benefits you every round you play an action card. Thug cards can have an effect that benefits you every round as well. This guy was played on a previous turn. Now is the time to use his one-time ability. Not all cards are about what you are doing. This card gets you money when the player to your left gains money, so keep a sharp eye on what your opponents are doing. After money is paid, retribution is served or taken. The final phase, Phase 4, is simply checking that all each turn effects are settled. This holding will receive money every time during this phase, if conditions are met. Thug cards may also have an each turn effect. This card gains you money each round. The game ends after 12 rounds. Each player adds their cash and development markers. Remember, development markers are worth $10,000 each. In Donald X. Vaccarino's Greed, you do whatever it takes to come out on top. It's gangland war, and there are no points for second place. Finish with the most money, and you become the one true power, the big boss of the city.